Hi, this is Ann Brady, and I'll be reading from chapter 4 of my book, A New Beginning, the story of my adoption, life, and service. In my junior year, I took two nursing courses, physiological coping and psychological coping. Both had lectures, and we were going to the hospital later in the semester. I also took the course Insight to Music. In October, my instructor for physiological coping came to me to talk. She wanted me to drop out of her nursing course and take it later. Then other nursing administrators and teachers got involved, and they wanted me to change my major and leave nursing. While I missed science, I wanted to stay. One of the nursing teachers, she taught nursing perspectives, told me she thought I only wanted I was only wanting to become a nurse because I would fall apart if I didn't have nursing. I told them all fine, I didn't need nursing and I would change my major. When I went in the next day to withdraw officially from nursing, my mom decided to come with me. As I was about to hand my change in major, the administrator, one of those insisting I withdraw, saw my mother with me. So she told me that, well, you can still stay if you want to. I told her no and withdrew from nursing. I changed my major to biology, medical technology. I signed up for classes to start in the spring and stayed in my music class. One day after music class, I stopped in front of my other nursing class. I was waiting for a friend who was in that class. There was a guest speaker talking to the class. The teacher came out to talk to me. She said, "Aren't you in my class?" I told her what had happened, and she was furious. She said, "No one told me anything about this." In September, my Aunt Jo died. I was listening to the radio and getting ready for school when my mom told me that she had died. We left to go to Rockville, Maryland to attend the funeral. We flew down and stayed the weekend. Aunt Joe's family attended the viewing and the funeral. My mom and I were appalled at the fact that during the viewing, one of Aunt Joe's brothers was handing out his business cards to the attendees. We thought it was in poor taste. Funeral was lovely but sad. Aunt Joe's death was awfully hard on my Uncle Tom and my cousins. Youngest three children, Eileen, Chris, and Carolyn, were so young we weren't sure if they really understood all that was going on. My mom stayed with Uncle Tom for several weeks to help with my cousins and to help him through his grief. I flew home myself because I needed to go to school. My mom started commuting back and forth between Maryland and New York for several months. I enjoyed the music class. We got to listen to Beethoven, Brahms, Liszt, Wagner, operas. We had to identify by listening codas, intros, which stanza, which artist's music on tests. The teacher also required us, as part of the course, that we attend a ballet, a symphony, and an opera. We had to write a paper on each after we had attended each production. I took Joe with me to each production. We saw Madame Butterfly. The program was written in both English and French. It was an incredibly sad opera. The ballet company we saw, I believe, I believe, the Joplin Ballet Company. One weekend, the young adults group decided to go skiing in the Berkshire Mountains. We booked several rooms in a hotel up there, and we all rode up on a Greyhound bus together. We booked three rooms, one for the only married couple, Howie and Marilyn, one for all the men, and one for all the women. I had never skied before. It was exciting. On the bus, we met people in other groups, all going to the same ski resort. One girl in our group started drinking what she called Dirty Mothers. It was Kahlua and milk. She finished off the whole bottle of Kahlua and got sick when we got to the room. She spent the whole night throwing up. I met two nice guys on the bus and we talked for a while on the trip up. The next day, I took lessons from a ski instructor. She taught us how to snowplow, how to fall correctly to avoid hurting ourselves. She also taught us how to get up and how to parallel ski. I had a beginner ski lift badge. Unfortunately, it had flipped over. I got on the wrong lift line. I ended up going on the intermediate lift. I tried to stay on the lift to go back down, but the lift wouldn't move until I got off. I started to ski down the mountain but got scared. I took off my skis and tried to walk down the mountain in my ski boots. That didn't last long. I put my skis back on and started slowly down the mountain. I looked up and saw another ski lift to the left of me. I also saw the two boys I had met on the bus the day before. They saw me as I waved to them. They told me to come over by the ski lift and wait. They would join me and ski with me down the mountain. I waited and we skied down the mountain together. They were faster than me, but just knowing that they were there allowed me to feel secure enough to ski down the mountain safely. Waited for me by the ski lodge and we went inside for some hot cocoa. When Christmas came, Joe bought me another John Denver album. I like John Denver, but 5 to 7 albums is a bit much. After John Denver's concert, Joe would give me a John Denver album for Christmas and my birthday. While down in Hampton Bays, I decided to make a snow woman. I even found a small pink I found I even found small pink shells to place on the bosom. My mom was appalled. She quickly got a pair of my shorts, the top of my bikini, and some thick yarn. She tied the yarn to the shorts and the bikini bra to cover my up the naked snow woman. I thought it was hysterical. My dad and I also skated on a local pond nearby. Below is a picture of a snow woman, mom, and me. Snow woman has got a straw cap and she's got the eyes and the nose and she's got the bikini with little buttons underneath it and she's got blue jean shorts. And the next picture is dad and me ice skating. And it's basically we're in our winter clothes and we're on a pond. In the second semester, I took design and applied art, quantitative analysis, chemistry, calculus for biological management and statistics, and introduction to EDP, electronic data programming. Quantitative analysis was a hard course. In lab, we had to determine how much of a substance was in a compound using titration. We had to use calculations comparing the unknown substance, could be iron, in our compound to a compound that we knew had a known amount of the substance we were looking for. I had a hard time with quantitative analysis and failed the course the first time I took it. Calculus was a lot of formulas that would be used in research projects and in laboratory procedures. Introduction to EDP was interesting. We learned mostly how to use Fortran. The teacher barely touched on COBOL and BASIC. Fortran used computer punch cards. You would type in the commands using a special typewriter, and holes would be punched into punch cards. At the end of the program, you had to type stop end commands, or the program wouldn't stop until the computer ran out of paper. We found out the hard way when one student forgot to type end. The arts class was interesting. We learned different types of art. We did paper mache, lithography, scratching, glass staining and etching, and macrame. I took the class to relax. I was taking some hard courses and thought the class would be fun. During spring break, my parents took me to both Orlando and Sarasota, Florida. We drove down to Florida. I tried to convince them to stop at a gator farm, but they absolutely refused to stop. We went to Disney World, Sea World, and Circus World. We went We first went to Disney World. We rode through the It's a Small World exhibit, and we went through the President's exhibit. I love seeing the animatronic presidents. We have a picture of Disney World and some of the guests. We have a picture of Donald, Mickey, and Tigger. And we have a picture of a steamboat ride at Disney World. I tried to get my parents to go on a steamboat ride or see the Pirates of the Caribbean. They weren't interested. We did see the Disney parade. It was a lot of fun. Next, we went to SeaWorld. We watched the seals, saw pearl divers, saw the dolphin show, and the killer whale. We also saw skiers put on a fantastic show on the Atlantic Ocean. Pearl divers would dive down and get an oyster shell. They would open it and you might get a pearl or not. If you got a pearl, you could pay to get it set in a necklace or ring. We bought a necklace for my pearl. First picture is the orca or killer whale at SeaWorld, and the next one is we're feeding the dolphins. And the next one after that is Dad and me at SeaWorld. I'm getting the necklace for my pearl. We went next to Circus World. Circus World is where the clown school is held during this circus off season. We got to see different performances. Some with seals or other animals. They had roller coasters. They had a roller coaster that was a giant loop. Before you could get on the ride, you had to place your purse and loose items off to the side or have someone hold them for you. This was because of hanging upside down for a short time while going through the loop. I gave my stuff to my mom and went on the ride. I've always enjoyed rides like roller coasters or log flumes. It was a strange sensation hanging upside down on the ride. It was a short ride. We went forward, up through the loop to the end of the track, and then the ride went in reverse back to where we started. It was fun and I enjoyed it. And next are pictures of SeaWorld, of Circus World with clowns and a seal on stage. After we left Orlando, Florida, we went to Sarasota, Florida. It was great. We spent a lot of time at the beach and totally relaxed. I didn't want to go home. And that is all for today. And I will continue tomorrow. I hope everybody had a nice day and have a nice day tomorrow. And thank you for listening to me. Please buy my book, A New Beginning, The Story of My Adoption, Life, and Service at Amazon.